starts right now.
A deadly crash on I-35 leaves 4 people dead, and this morning, suspects still nowhere to be found. Why police say that a stolen car and an assault rifle are at the center of it all.
And state lawmakers are set to return to Austin for a special session. How they will be prioritizing the recent floods and helping those affected. Hey there, good morning. It is Friday, July the 18th. It has been a long week.
It has. These weeks have been going by really, really slow. But I will say that it looks like we do not have any rain in the forecast, which I think is great news. But let's make sure to check in with meteorologist Shelby Ebertowski. She's in for Justin Horn. Shelby, please tell me, you guys have been kind of saying that. Are we looking drier this weekend?
We are looking drier. Now, there is a small chance, Jeff, of just some light showers, maybe a quick sprinkle, but that's going to be it. We're not tracking a big multi-day event of some heavy rain. It's just going to be light sprinkles and showers. The temperatures right now still sitting nice and comfortable in the 77 degrees in San Antonio, 84% for the humidity. So you're stepping out the door and you're feeling the mugginess this morning. And that's going to continue over the next few days, like I've been mentioning, because we're tracking that extra Gulf moisture. And today we only have about a 10 to 20% chance, so it's not going to be a big washout. It's going to be very light, like I've been mentioning, quick sprinkle. Peak temperature is about 95 degrees later today, and it is going to be mostly cloudy. However, there is a small chance we can get mostly sunny skies later in the afternoon. And not only today do we have about a 20% rain chance, we also have some tomorrow. Now, once again, it's going to be about 10% to 20% chance tomorrow. And then we're drying out. We're seeing a high pressure system come into areas of South Texas. We're drying out, maybe even getting a little bit of some Saharan dust. I'll break down what you need to know for your weekend forecast coming up in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Shelby. And let's take a look outside right now this morning at 5:02, how your traffic is looking. That's I-35, that's I-37 at Jones. Traffic looking pretty good. We do have some construction at I-35 and Laredo Street. We also have an accident that just popped up right before 5 at 410 at Roosevelt, the southbound lanes there.
Let's get out to meet photojournalist Alex Gomez. Again, peaceful from Patty's perspective, but right now we're looking at some type of situation. So, Alex, what's going down?
Yeah, good morning, Jaffney. It's going to be a rollover accident over here on the south side, 410 eastbound, right before Roosevelt. We do have that left lane blocked right here going eastbound on the lane. So just be careful. We do have crews now on scene, and we have about a half a mile of a backup over here on the south side now, Jaffney.
All right, Alex, we'll be checking in with you to see how that commute turns out as the morning progresses. Okay, it is 5:03 right now. We got at least 4 people who are dead and many more hurt after a massive car crash that happened on I-35. This morning, San Antonio police say that they still haven't found the people who caused the crash. This happened just before 3 p.m. yesterday on the southbound lanes of I-35 near Casson Road. You see it right there on the map. That's near Loop 410 interchange on the southwest side. Police say that the multi-vehicle crash started when a stolen Camaro crashed into a small bus carrying a trailer. Police Chief William McManus says that the 4 suspects in the Camaro, including one with an assault rifle, jumped out of the car and haven't been found. As for the victims, Chief McManus said that the 2 who died were older adults.
We continue the process of recovering bodies, of removing debris, of rebuilding, and the early process of getting people back into homes.
That's Governor Greg Abbott there when he visited San Angelo yesterday, where at least 1 person died from the July 4th floods.
So while the governor was focused on rebuilding, he gave a sobering update.
The governor gave us an update on the death toll, saying that 135 people have died from the July 4th floods, with 107 of those found in Kerr County and 9 in Kendall County. That is more than those we lost during Hurricane Harvey. At least 68 people were killed as a result of that storm in 2017. So in a few days, state lawmakers return to Austin for a special session, and the recent floods will be a big part of that conversation. Governor Abbott has identified 18 items on the agenda, with flood warning systems and emergency response being on that list. Lawmakers will also address a few hangups from the regular session, like property tax cuts, a possible ban on hemp products, and replacing the STAR test.
Special session starts next Monday, July 21st, and then on the 23rd, the Joint Disaster Preparedness and Flooding Committee meets in Austin, and then they'll meet in Kerrville on the 31st.
And our KSAT Together for Texas donation campaign is ongoing. So far, our community has helped raise more than $920,000. All of that money going to those impacted by the deadly hill country flooding and through the Salvation Army.
And get this, there's a Together for Texas benefit concert happening on August the 18th. This is happening at the Tobin Center for Performing Arts. You're going to be able to watch it on KSAT 12 and all of our streaming platforms, with the performers that you'll see on your screen will be featured. You're taking a look right there. I love it. Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias, you name it. Proceeds will go directly to the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund. And we have that ticket information posted for you on our website at ksat.com.
Time right now, 5:05. More than a year after voting to terminate him, Kirby rehired Brian Rowland to serve as city manager. That split decision just happened during the latest city council meeting. Now, back in February, KSAT Investigates learned that the city hired Rowland as interim, even though the city terminated him in 2023. Council ended Rowland's initial 4-month tenure after employee complaints led to an investigation. Records show at least 20 people applied to be Kirby's city manager. Rowland told KSAT Investigates he's the best person for the job.
In your morning headlines, the White House announced President Donald Trump was diagnosed with a medical condition. It's called chronic venous insufficiency. It's when the valves inside certain veins don't work the way they should. And when that happens, the blood can collect in the veins, which can lead to blood clots. It's common when people sit or stand for long periods of time. But again, we spoke with a vein specialist who treats people with CVI in San Antonio. He says anyone with CVI needs to see a specialist.
It's very dangerous. One thing is just the chronic swelling to all that. When it stretches out, some of that fluid's going to squish out and it becomes edema, eventually more serious lymphedema. And you have these heavy swollen legs from then on. You're walking around carrying jugs of water in your legs.
Unfortunately, with the president being the president, he is seeing specialists. The president diagnosed with CVI after his legs swelled. White House says that he had a comprehensive examination and, quote, remains in excellent health.
Okay, meanwhile, overnight on Capitol Hill, the House giving final approval to President Trump's request to pull back nearly $9 billion in government spending. That includes more than $1 billion from public broadcasting and nearly $8 billion from foreign aid. It is the first time in decades a president has gotten this kind of budget rollback through Congress. Some Republicans weren't thrilled about the cuts, but voted yes anyway, not wanting to go against President Trump's agenda. And the White House says more cuts could be coming. And extreme weather continues to wreak havoc across the country. In Indiana, an RV was swept away. You can see it right there during a severe thunderstorm that slammed parts of that state. Torrents of mud flowing through Ruido's, New Mexico, and more rounds of monsoon showers and storms are expected across the Southwest today. Along the Gulf Coast, millions are at risk for dangerous flash flooding as a tropical disturbance brings in heavy rounds of rain and life-threatening rip currents. Some areas of Louisiana could see rainfall totals up to 15 inches. An extreme athlete, Felix Baumgartner, the first skydiver to fall faster than the speed of sound during a 24-mile leap through the stratosphere more than a decade ago, has died. It happened during a crash yesterday along the eastern coast of Italy. Italian firefighters say his paraglider crashed into the side of a swimming pool. Baumgartner, known as Fearless Felix, stunned the world in 2012 when he became the first human to break the sound barrier with only his body. He wore a pressurized suit and jumped from a capsule hoisted more than 24 miles above Earth by a giant helium balloon over New Mexico.
And taking a look outside with live cam, nothing really on the radar currently, but we do have a chance of some rain later today and even going into the weekend. I'll break down your futurecast and what you need to know about these showers coming up after the break.
The camps up and down the Guadalupe are a staple of the hill country life. How they play into the region's culture next.
Apple's turning emojis into your next puzzle obsession. Plus, Uber's rolling out thousands of sleek new robo-taxis. What you need to know next.
have a favorite restaurant or a favorite hairstylist? SA Picks is back, and we want to know who you think are the top businesses in the city. There are more than 90 categories to vote on. Just scan the QR code on your screen. You can vote for each category once a day, and you have until August 1st to vote. The finalists will be announced on August 19th, and then there'll be another round of voting from August 20th through September 12th to determine the big winners. We'll announce the winners in late September, so cast your vote now for your favorite business to be recognized as the best in San Antonio.
All right, get your votes in. 5:13 right now. Okay, switching gears. You got to spend any amount of time on the Hill Country, and you know that summer camps are a big deal. And there are nearly 20 camps along the Guadalupe River, from where the river begins to Comfort.
Yeah, Avery Everett spoke with one camp director in the area, and while he didn't see any damage to his property, he says what happened weighs in the entire camp community.
Camp is a very close-knit, very tight community, and for me, it's really hard, to run camp knowing that happened.
On the hilltop of Herman Son's Life Camp, it's hard to tell what happened 2 weeks ago, but in less than a 5-minute drive, the devastation from the deadly Hill Country floods is overwhelming.
I mean, that's kind of hard to grasp how lucky you are sometimes.
When the floods hit, this camp was empty. Director Ian Brassett says it was one of the few days he had off.
We run camp throughout the summer. We are high, we're not close to the river, but it's scary to think about it. Every camp is different, and every camp has its own emergency procedures. Will it make us reevaluate? Sure.
Brassett says Herman Son's Life Camp is only operating out of its hilltop location this year, so flooding isn't as big of a concern here. But on July 4th, their Riverside location saw water. Thankfully, no one was there. Out of extreme caution, Herman Son's canceled camp scheduled for last week.
It's got to be tough for parents to send their kids to camp. We understand that. We needed to give the emergency procedures, the emergency services in the area time to clean up.
Herman Son's is about 30 miles down the Guadalupe River from Hunt, Texas. That's close to where places like Camp Mystic were hardest hit. Brassett says he didn't personally know the two camp directors who died in the flood, but he says the culture of interconnectedness between camps in the Hill Country makes this tragedy hard for the entire community.
It's devastating. I just feel for them and their families.
He hopes in tragedy, people in the Hill Country can come together.
Friendship, love, and loyalty. That's Herman Son's creed.
A message of unity from one camp to the next. Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
Okay, so right now we're looking at 5:16. Today, Project Smash actually hosting a Dance for a Cause, community-driven event that aims to raise vital funds for the families and the communities impacted by those recent floods.
And the special dance workshop is from 7 to 8:30 p.m. at the Smash Dance and Fitness Studio on Bandera Road. The evening will feature a dance session led by instructors. They're suggesting a $10 donation, with all the proceeds benefiting the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund.
Also, we want you to grab your cowboy boots and your hats, because country music here at the Rocket La Cantera, sports and entertainment, already kicking off its free taste of summer. But don't worry, there's still plenty of time to see some of those headliners, with the next concert happening today.
Singer Bart Crow with Gavin Story will take the stage at 7 p.m. following on August 23rd. The Wilder Blue with the Matthew Bryan Band and Jefferson Clay will wrap up the series. General admission is free, but VIP options are available.
All right, how are we looking on the roadways right now?
All right, we got construction, of course. There's always construction. I-35 El Laredo northbound, I-10 at Zool westbound. There's construction there. I-10 at Woodlawn Avenue, and of course, there's still also that crash at 410 and Roosevelt Avenue that's still showing up.
US 90 and West Military, you saw right there, crash-free as we speak. We do have photojournalist Alex Gomez out in the field right now. He was at a situation that looked like a rollover. Looks like they got to turn back up. So, Alex, do you know anything yet?
Yeah, we are making some progress over here, Jaffney. Again, this is going to be on the south side, 410 eastbound before Roosevelt, and we're getting a better look at this rollover crash right here. The SUV has a pretty good damage right there, but they were able to take the driver out, and that driver has since been transported to a nearby hospital. So in the meantime, we do only have one lane blocked right here on the left side, and right now, traffic actually is getting a little bit better. It's only down to about a quarter mile of traffic of a backup on 410 eastbound, again, right before Roosevelt. But I'll keep an eye on this, but this should be wrapping up within this 5 o'clock hour, Jaffney.
All right, thanks so much, Alex. Stay safe. And again, our prayers are with the driver who definitely will be sore after this. This is a horrific looking rollover situation. Let's get over to weather. How you doing over there, Shelby?
I'm doing great. It's a little muggy outside. You're waking up probably feeling that humidity. I know that was the first thing I noticed this morning. And that humidity will help make it feel muggier, but also the temperature will continue to increase. 77 degrees in San Antonio right now, 77 in areas of Floresville. And throughout the next few hours, we will continue to increase our temperature. It's normal, but with that, the sun's going to come up. And once that sun comes up, even though we're still going to have partly cloudy skies, it is going to allow our temperatures to still warm up to about near mid to upper 80s just by lunchtime, already getting to about 90 degrees just after lunch as well. Now, we do start to see some rain chances pop up later on in the forecast, particularly late afternoon, early evening, but it's still only about a 10 to 20% chance of some actual showers. Now, right now for the clouds and radar, we're just starting to see some extra cloud coverage move into areas of south central Texas, still seeing some slightly breezy winds. The heavier cloud and the more cloud coverage is because of what we're watching just to the east of us. That area of low pressure, it's very weak, but you can kind of see the little bit of the swirl and even some showers in areas of New Orleans, and you can really start to focus once again where we saw the heavier rain. It's starting to pick back up once again as you get into areas of East Texas and western Louisiana near Lake Charles, and even still seeing some heavier rain in areas of New Orleans. And that's where we were watching for the potential for any tropical development. It was Invest 93L, basically just giving us name without giving a name is how the National Hurricane Center did it. And that's what we're watching for, the chance to see a few showers later on today and into tomorrow. Now, it's going to continue to just kind of sit in East Texas and western Louisiana, but tonight some of that moisture is also going to meet with some of that sea breeze we normally get this time of year along the coastal plains, and that's going to spark just a very light chance of some showers. It's going to be very light, maybe a quick shower or downpour, and we're quiet overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. But tomorrow we're still tracking the chance and the potential for more chances of some showers, and it's really going to be hard to tell where we see the showers really start to set up. Just know that most of us here in our viewing area have the chance, even getting into the hill country, but it's gone by 8 p.m. So it's just going to be very quick, very isolated, and still about a 20% chance. And then the great news, although it's not a lot of rain so far this time, we're still going to dry out starting on Sunday. Take a look at the 7-day. Sunny skies, temperatures in the 90s. Although it's going to be hot, and I know some people don't like it, I know it's great news for us to dry out.
It's turning into a normal summer finally. I think a lot of people is ready just to see the heat and less rain.
Yes, very much so.
But again, we also have to remind people to drink a lot of water, Gatorade, because especially those people that are working outdoors in those searches.
Dry fit clothing too.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks so much.
521 right now, 77 degrees outside.
Apple takes on Wordle with emojis, and Uber's next driver might not be human. The tech shakeup coming your way next.
In today's Tech Bites, Apple has released a new video game. Some News Plus subscribers now have access to Emoji Game, which was released just in time for World Emoji Day. Players fill in the blanks of 3 short phrases using a selection of emoji and genmoji. Think of it as Wordle, but for emojis. A new study shows Android phones are getting better at detecting earthquakes and warning you before the ground starts shaking. The global early warning system works through a sensor in your phone. It has detected more than 1,000 quakes since 2021, giving people as much much as 1 minute's notice to run for cover. And finally, Uber plans to deploy a fleet of self-driving SUVs in the coming years. The company has partnered with EV maker Lucid. The robo-taxis will reportedly launch at a yet-to-be-named U.S. airport next year. 20,000 could be on the roads by 2031. Oh, no driver. How will I know which car is mine if there's nothing to chauffeur it? Those are your Tech Bites.
Can't do that.
I like talking to the drivers when I go new.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. You built that bond. Okay, we'll figure it out. That's the future. If you need something to do with your family, though, City of San Antonio World Heritage Office has been screening a free movie at Mission Marquee Plaza.
Okay, it opens at 7 p.m. with films starting shortly after dusk. Tomorrow, they are showcasing Captain America, Brave New World. You are encouraged to bring lawn chairs, blankets, picnics, and snacks. A variety of local food trucks will also be on site offering food and beverages for purchase. This outdoor family film series will run through November 15th.
All right, guys, we're looking at 526 right now, 77 degrees outside.
The families of Uvalde victims are heading to court, taking on tech and gaming giants. We'll tell you about the legal battle that begins today.
And friends and family gather to remember a man who touched so many lives. What's next in the case of Las Palapas founder Ron Acosta, who was killed in his home earlier this month? Welcome back. Coming up on 5:30, it is Friday, y'all, July the 18th.
And we are back on track to having a normal summer with a lot of heat, Shelby.
Yes. I know that's one thing that people are like, where's the triple digits? Where are the triple digits? We've seen
them away. Keep them away.
I will take it as long as we're drying out with the triple digits, which I know it's been a big concern amongst most of areas in the Hill Country and areas of Uvalde County. But temperatures right now, we're not once again sitting abnormally hot. We're sitting very seasonable, very average this time of year, sitting at about 77 this morning. Granted, there is still some humidity this morning, but take a look at July so far. Now, this is just the temperatures. This doesn't take into account the precipitation we've seen as well. Yesterday was the only day we've been above average. Where you see those gray colors, that's where we've been exactly average. Our average is about 95 degrees or so. So it takes about 2 degrees on either side to be considered average or near average. But all the blue, that's where you see temperatures below average. We started the month at about 89 degrees. We so far are getting to about 98 and even 81 degrees on Friday, July 4th, where there was the tragic floods. But normally in July, we're seeing multiple triple digits. So far this year, we've only seen about 3, and that was back in spring and even in winter still. Normally in 2024 and even 2022, we've seen about 10 to 25 triple digit days. Now this weekend we are going to get close, but we're also tracking that chance of some showers. But even then, we're going to be about 97 degrees. The heat indices though, that's the tricky thing. It can feel like we're in the triple digits, especially if there's any humidity, if we see that cloud coverage. I'll break down your weekend forecast of what you can expect coming up in just a bit, guys.
No emotion for McCain for much of this trial. Oh, this is a live picture right there. You see McCain with an elbow to the bailiff.
Yeah, that video that you just saw was shot by KSAT cameras. That happened back in 2021, but it's capturing this man right here. This is Otis McCain attacking a bailiff in court after hearing his guilty verdict. Now, he was convicted for shooting a San Antonio police detective, Benjamin Marconi, twice in the head as he sat in his patrol car outside police headquarters on November 20th of 2016. And McCain returned to the same Bexar County courtroom yesterday for what could be the beginning of a long appeals process. But that appeal hearing expected to continue later today. McCain and his defense attorneys believe that he did not receive a fair trial, and they want him taken off of death row. Attorney Sarah Brandon says that during his trial, the state presented false evidence and his attorneys didn't do their job.
Mr. McCain's trial team had a legal and ethical obligation to undertake as full investigation as possible into their client's life. They did not.
Prosecutors believe that McCain carried out a plan to ambush, and jurors only deliberated for 25 minutes before delivering a guilty verdict.
A young girl is in the hospital after being found floating in a family pool. This happened at a home with a backyard pool on Andesine Ridge, just outside of 1604 on the far south side. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office says the 3-year-old girl was swimming during a family gathering when they noticed her floating. BCSO tells us first responders arrived shortly after and started CPR. She was rushed to the hospital. No word yet on how she is doing this morning.
A lot of people during the Hill Country floods lost everything. We visited with 2 people in Comfort who live along the same stretch of the Guadalupe River, but are experiencing 2 completely different aftermaths.
It would take 35 feet to get in my house, so it got up 30 feet, 34 feet, I'm sure. That's when I lost my truck, my motorcycle, my van, my RV, everything under here was gone.
Yeah, that man's name is Woody, and thankfully the community's been there for him. Someone even gifted him a truck to replace his classic Ford. However, another person that we talked to by the name of JR wasn't as fortunate.
Lost everything. Just trying to salvage what little bit we have. We just barely had time to get out. Jumped in the trucks and all that.
As the water receded and cleanup efforts began, JR tells us that he finally got the water working again, and like many others, now needs some money to replace items lost.
Remembering those who lost their lives, next week, Ingram ISD will host a candlelight vigil for the lives lost in the Hill Country floods. It is scheduled for Wednesday, July 23rd, and will take place at the Ingram Tom Moore High School softball field. Now, according to the district's Facebook post, the vigil will start at 7:30 p.m. Those who plan to attend are encouraged to take lawn chairs and carpool. The devastation in the Hill Country has left a lot of families with nothing, and now they're reaching out for help. A spokesperson from FEMA has told us that since July 4th, 4,216 people have applied for federal assistance. FEMA assistance can put cash in your pockets for things like food, shelter, medical needs, and funeral expenses. To apply, you can go to disasterassistance.gov. Call FEMA at the number right there on your screen, or you can also reach them through the FEMA mobile app. And this morning, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is calling for an investigation after he says scammers are targeting flood victims and those wanting to help. Paxton says scammers are impersonating a charity and went as far as making donors believe they were donating to the Center Point Volunteer Fire Department. In a statement, Paxton called it, quote, disgusting that people would use the tragedy of the devastating floods to enrich themselves by deceiving well-meaning people trying to help, end quote. He says scammers will be held accountable.
Our Together for Texas donation campaign, very real though, and it's ongoing. So far, we've raised more than $920,000. All that money going to the impacted by the deadly Hill Country flooding. Again, that's happening through the Salvation Army. And also another reminder, we got that Together for Texas benefit concert happening on August the 18th at the Tobin Center for Performing Arts. You're going to be able to watch it on KSAT 12 and all of us streaming platforms. The performers that you see on your screen, again, will be featured. Go directly to the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund, and that's with the proceeds. We have ticket information posted over on KSAT.com.
And the families of the victims killed at Robb Elementary are heading to court later today. They're suing the parent companies of Instagram and Call of Duty, saying the companies helped market weapons to the Uvalde shooter before he was 18. Those arguments begin in Los Angeles at noon. That is San Antonio time. And this weekend, a Uvalde nonprofit will make their first big contribution to that community.
Yeah, it's called Gloves for Tess, founded by the family of Robb Elementary shooting victim Tess Mata. Now, it's their way of spreading her love of softball. Tess would have turned 13 this year, and so they're donating 13 gloves to players in Uvalde. The donation was made possible by a grant from the Dick's Sporting Goods Foundation. Friends and family gathered to remember the man who touched so many lives.
Las Palapas founder Ron Acosta, who was killed in his home earlier this month. The celebration of life ceremony was held yesterday at Cornerstone Church. The service included a sermon as well as video and musical tributes for Acosta. Investigators say Acosta was killed in his San Antonio home on July 1st. San Antonio police say his nephew stabbed him. 39-year-old David Reese is charged with murder.
All right, let's take a look out at traffic right now. Your traffic authority. Again, we're looking at crash-free conditions right there on I-10 and 35 right there. Another one, I-10 and De Zavala. You two are looking pretty decent this morning. Let's see if we get another camera coming through. I-35 in Walsham. You too. Traffic is moving along just fine.
And taking a look outside with live cam, we're going to be relatively dry today. However, the area reservoir and lake levels are continuing to go up. Medina Lake is now up to 6%. I'll break down the latest rain we've had, plus rain coming up in just a bit.
Came driving down the street and it was flooded, and I came around and I saw our station and everything floating out, and it was just like.
They were out saving others when the Hill Country floods hit home. How the community is stepping up for Center Point's firefighters.
And right now, traffic is rolling pretty smoothly on the east side. Now, I just left the south side where there was a bad rollover accident. After the break, I'll give you an update of how that area is looking like now.
All right, so you might call it a favor returned. Firefighters out helping the Hill Country community during the floods ended up needing help themselves.
Yeah, and now that same community has come through. Katrina Weber shows us how people help those Center Point firefighter crews get the firehouse in order.
They put down their hoses to pick up squeegees and anything else that would usher out a muddy mess. Center Point volunteer firefighters had to work hard July 4th. After an already grueling day.
I came driving down the street and it was flooded, and I came around and I saw our station and everything floating out, and it was just like.
Razor Dobbs was floored by what he saw within and up the walls, a mountain of mud.
This had about this much mud.
He gave us a tour that day, flood damage everywhere.
Trailers and gear was all piled up in here.
What wasn't inside anymore was their firefighting gear. It was swept away as the crews were out saving people from the swift-moving water. That included the rescue of a woman clinging to a tree.
Our station was completely upside down, but the community came in and cleaned it up.
That cleanup also came as a surprise, a pleasant one, as they continued working around the clock.
And our water was back on. Our electricity was restored, all of that, and that was all citizens.
Nearly 2 weeks later, there's a world of difference. The once muddy space is now a command post full of supplies and people. They also replaced their gear by way of donations. While they have begun to get their house in order, there are still some things that need to be replaced. For example, that is a vital piece of equipment. It was damaged, and they used it to fill their air tanks. Still, Dobbs says they are breathing easier now. With their firehouse restored, they can relax mentally as they continue helping others. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
That's such a great. I love seeing how communities step up, especially giving back to first responders who give back to already so many aspects.
For sure. It's really great to see Texans helping Texans. I know that slogan's been used a lot. And we
mean it, though.
We do.
Yeah.
Texans.
And it's real. It's true. I'm seeing it, so that's awesome.
Now, I do have some good news, bad news. Yes, we're tracking rain. However, it's going to be very light, not maybe a quick shower, maybe a quick downpour, but that's pretty much it. So you can still be at ease just a little bit. Temperatures right now still sitting in the 70s, 69 degrees in areas of Kirtville, so it's still a little cooler. But the humidity, it's feeling muggy this morning. And normally we're used to the mugginess, but still something to keep in mind of. You're walking out the door, maybe feeling it. And part of the reason is it's the normal Gulf mugginess that we see most of the year. However, what we're watching for the chance of some rain showers is this. It was Invest 93L. Basically, that just means the National Hurricane Center was watching this area for some sort of tropical development. However, once it made landfall in areas near New Orleans and even on the Louisiana coast, it kind of started to dissipate. And even now, we're still seeing the heavier rain in areas of eastern Texas and western Louisiana, just north of Lake Charles, just to the north of areas of Beaumont. So it's really going to give us another chance of some isolated showers like I showed you earlier, but we're already on saturated ground. Not only do we have some heavy rainfall in Bexar County just over a month ago, but the Hill Country saw heavy rainfall on July 4th. Areas just to the west in between the Frio River, even the Sabinal River, and even in Rialto County down to Uvalde County, they saw some heavier rain just earlier this week, even into last week. So this is the rainfall totals for the last 2 weeks. You see 22 inches in area of Burnett, Texas, where they also had some heavier rain in areas of central Texas. But that white outline that you see, that's the drought monitor of what we were just 2 months ago or a few weeks ago. Now, this is how many days we've seen of rain this month. In Ingram, they've had 12 days. We're only on the 18th day of the month. 12 of them have been seeing some sort of rain. Now, as you get closer to San Antonio, we've had about 7 days where we've seen active rain currently falling in the month of July, but it's been an active and kind of a wet month for most of us here in South Central Texas. Now, like I mentioned, that white outline that I showed you earlier for the rainfall we've seen over the last 2 weeks, that basically outlines that exceptional drought going through areas of South Central Texas. That, once again, is what we were just 2 months ago. This is the drought monitor as of yesterday. Definitely an improvement for sure, not only in areas of the Hill Country where they had some heavy flooding, but also in areas of Bexar County just to the west, as well as areas just to the east. Most of Texas, in fact, saw some improvement. Now, yes, we still have that exceptional drought in areas of Medina County, but for the drought monitor, it has to do with the creeks, the aquifer levels, the lake levels, and Medina Lake is only 6% full. So that also has to contribute to the chance and the fact that they're still in the exceptional drought. But Bexar County has continued to improve as well. Basically, inside 1604 is still in the extreme, but on the outskirts, we're still in the severe. The Hill Country is just either moderate to just abnormally dry. So definitely some improvements. Now, once again, we are tracking some rain chances. Granted, it's only about a 20% chance today and tomorrow, and it's going to be very quick, very isolated. Not everyone is going to see the chance of some rain, so definitely keep an update and just keep in mind you might have to dodge a quick shower this weekend.
All right. Thank you so much, Shelby. Out on the roadways, we are actually looking crash-free according to TxDOT. Again, we've been talking about those construction zones for a while now, so that's all you got to have to worry about if you hit the roads this morning. But at Loop 1604 Petranco, you see traffic is moving along just fine. That's the same case for I-10 and Frio.
All right, let's head over to Alex Gomez, who is on the road right now. Where are you, Alex?
Yeah, good morning, Patty. I'm on the northeast side right now, and I have a quick update for our south side commuters. That crash scene has cleared. 410 eastbound at Roosevelt is back in action, both lanes open. Now I'm on northeast side, 35 northbound at Walsham. I'm going to see if there's any construction delays on the northeast side for our 6 a.m. drivers who are about to hit the roadways, Patty.
All right, thanks so much, Alex. All right, time right now is 5:51. Good morning, Bernie.
77 degrees outside. San Antonio's own Mario Barrios is done talking and ready to fight. Up next, we got a first look at his fight against the legendary Manny Pacquiao tomorrow night in Vegas.
All right, time right now, 5:54. Saturday night in Las Vegas. It'll be San Antonio's Mario Barrios versus legendary boxer Manny Pacquiao. El Azteca and Pac-Man have addressed the media for the final time at the MGM Grand.
Yeah, so Pacquiao, all smiles. No surprise, but get this, Barrios, he is, on the other hand, tired of answering all those questions that have come up with this high-profile fight. He's ready to get in the ring.
And Barrios isn't the only one fighting on Saturday night. San Antonio's Jesse Bam Rodriguez is facing Pamela Alcafu in the World Fight title in Frisco.
And then the local boxer Gabriela Tellez has a fight tonight to get you ready again for the big weekend. We got the days and fights that you need a subscription to watch. But Bardio's fight is pay-per-view on Amazon Prime. We got to check that out.
Is that something you'll be doing this
I think so. I absolutely love seeing kind of high-profile fights like that. I'm not a big boxing fan. I'm more of a UFC person. But if it's a big fight, I'm going to be watching and paying attention to it.
I just watch my kids fight for fun.
That is a good deal right there. Okay, guys, we're at 5:55 right now, 77 degrees outside.
Up next, back to our top stories. A deadly crash on I-35, and the people who caused it are still missing. Their possible link to the stolen Camaro and an assault rifle. Plus,
the insides of flooded houses across the Kerrville-Ingram area are a big issue around the area over here. Coming up this morning on GMSA, we're taking a look at how you can get free help cleaning out your house and the do's and don'ts of doing it.
All right, thank you, Devin. And of course, we got out on the roadways. Photojournalist Alex Gomez giving you a first-hand look of what your commute will look like when you hit the roads. We got all that coming your way and so much more on GMSA.